everyone. Today I am going to teach about communication. Let us see what is introduction. Being able to communicate effectively is the most important of all life skills. There will be the different people to communicate surrounding of us like family, friends and other persons in the society. So here the communication, it is nothing but transferring any information, any of our thoughts, any of our ideas from one person to another group or another person. So communication is simply the act of transferring information from one place or person or group to another. In every communication, so there will be a one message should be there. So that message who was sending, he was the sender. That message who are receiving, he was the recipients. So every communication involves one sender, one message and one a recipients. These includes our emotions or any our cultural situation or any our gossips, any our chat, otherwise even our location also we can share to the another person. Actually the term communication derived from Latin word that is communicare, which means that to share or to impact. Impact means it will affect how much the information is affecting on the receiver. Let us see definition of communication. Communication is a process of sharing information using a set of common rules. So communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs or behavior. As I said before, sharing of information to person or another group. The definition states that conveyed information must have some understanding between sender and receiver. The sender is person or group who wishes to convey a message. Receiver also a person or group who must listen and understand the message which the sended by the sender. Which the message is sended by the sender. Now we will see what are the purposes of communication. It will use in assessing the data of the patient and it will plan and apply proper interventions, and it will also help in evaluation on whatever the interventions we applied. Then we will ask the patient how the interventions are beneficial to the patient. It need a communication. So for proper evaluation from the patient, the communication is very necessary. And it will also help in promoting the health of a person and preventing their problems by nursing practices, and also to know or analyze the factors which are affecting the health team members. So for these reasons we need a communication properly. Next we will discuss about levels of communication. So there are 4 levels of communication. First one is conventional acquaintances, second one is exploratory associates, third one is participate friends, fourth one is intimacy. So here conventional acquaintances mean a person communicate with a stranger. It's mean that the conversation of this level is fairly impersonal. For example, when patient reach to the hospital first time unexpectedly, the first casual talk between the nurse and patient, that is the first level of communication. Next one is exploratory associate. Here in this the conversations is usually impersonal. Here the conversation is fact and problem oriented. The relationship remains on this level for many years. The relationship is friendly but not open too much of disclosure. For example, we can say that relationship with colleagues, neighbors are teaching to public, etc. Next level, third level is participate friends. Here the person express his own feelings, describes his own experiences and describe his own ideas. For example, we can say that nurse doctors, because the participate friends means people talk with themselves. The group is involved in self disclosure. Nurse client can teach to this level only if they have the developed good communication between them, and doctor and nurse also. Next level is intimacy. At this level people reveal themselves but not they expose themselves, and they will have the mutual understanding between them. Because if the one person, if they have the mutual understanding, the one person they won't hurt to the another person, they will adjust themselves. For example, close friends. Next we'll see elements of communication. So here elements of communication are the best explained by Mr. Berlow. So he is a model of communication, that is SMCR. SMCR. S means source, otherwise sender or encoder. M means message. C for channel or for receiver. So here one more R I mentioned here. Why? Because is the message that the receiver conveyed at the last, because in the Berlow the element, one of the element is missing, that is the R, response. We will discuss now. First we will see what is meant by S, means source. Here which means that the source sender must have an idea or reason for communication and must put the idea or feeling into an form that can be transmitted. So encoding includes like choosing a sign or symbol, how you are transmitting the messages to the receiver. For example, we can say that what words to be used, which language to be used, how to arrange the words properly, how to tell with the gestures, how the receiver will receive the messages by using of proper encoding methods. Next we will see message. The second element of community is the message. Message consists of verbal or non-verbal expressions of thoroughly feelings. It means that if the message was has properly conveyed in a proper channel, means proper encoding method, then the receiver will receive the message in a proper understanding. Either it will be verbal, either it will be non-verbal. Next one is channel. The medium used to convey the message is the channel. Which the medium we are using to convey the message, that is the channel. Channel can be target of any receiver senses such as seeing, hearing, touching, smelling and tasting. So here the face-to-face interaction is more effective than telephonic or written messages. Next one is the receiver. So here receiver means the receiver is the listener, observer who interpret the messages based on his or her own communication skills, attitude, knowledge and socio-cultural system. So here on the last, the Berlow has missed the last element, that is the response. It means nothing but the feedback. Is the message that the receiver conveyed to source or sender. It is also known as feedback, which may be verbal or non-verbal. For example, the nurse will ask that, will you tell me your name? Then the client will nodded his head and, yes sister, my name is. So he was telling that when the message went for the receiver, then the receiver has giving the feedback to the question. That is about the response for the proper message. Who are giving the message? The source. The source is asking the one question, means that is through by the message by using of proper channel. Then the person is giving the feedback for the question, that is nothing but the our response. Next we'll see types of communication. First one is the formal communication, means conversations between the officials on various positions. Example, nursing superintendent and staff nurses. Here formal communication, it will be between about the formals like professionals. So it occurs in a formal way, that is a formal language is used and it is done for the welfare of organization. It involves transmitting of official messages within or outside of the organization. So here it involves the communication between the departments. So one department to another department. Only the official talk will be there. No personal talks, anything. So like for example, nursing superintendent and staff nurses. One more is informal communication. So here it is the communication between the two people. maybe in social system or in organization. For example, interaction between the two close friends. It is very simple. So this is the very formal talk with the two people, like gossips and talking about the others, talking about our superiors. So like it was. Then one way communication. So one way communication is nothing but it is a flow of communication from sender to receiver only. It always flow in one direction. There is no two direction. Only the sender will give the messages to the receiver. There is no feedback from the receiver. That is the one way communication. Next we'll see two-way communication. So here it is the flow of communication from sender to receiver, and again from receiver to sender. It means the two-way the message was transmitting. Means the sender is giving the message to the receiver. Receiver also giving the feedback to the sender. For example, group discussions. Next one is visual communication. Visual communication means message is conveyed using by the symbols. For example, displayed posters or models in the exhibition. Here, whatever the message we are giving, it will be symbolic manner, like charts, maps, posters, painting. By seeing of this, we will get some of the symbolic communication. So for example, displayed models in examination, otherwise displayed posters on the wall also. Next communication is telecom communication. So telecom communication means it is nothing but the process of communicating in distant places with the help of electromagnetic appliance. For example, television, radio, internet, like etc. The message was going through by the television, audio and internet. That is the telecommunication. Next we will see about modes of communication. There are mainly two modes are there, verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So first we will see about verbal communication. Verbal communication means it is use of words to share the information with the other people. Means the verbal element of communication is all about the words that you choose and how they are heard or interpreted. So here mainly how you are choosing the symbols to convey the message, that is a verbal communication. It will be include either you will speak to the person either by the written form. We can use by this method. So these are the four types of verbal communication, that is intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, small group communication, last one is public communication. First one, intrapersonal communication means it is the communication with oneself, and that may include self-talk, act of imagination and visualization and even recall or memory we can say. For example, a person may use self-talk to calm down himself down in a stressful situation. If the person is getting any angry mode, to reduce his angry mode, he will count 1, 2, 3 like that. So maybe by doing of this one, he will reduce the angerness on the particular situation. That is the intrapersonal communication. Next one is the interpersonal communication. The second one is interpersonal communication. It is the process by which people exchange information, feelings and verbal or non-verbal messages. It is the face-to-face communication. For example, employer to employee or two sisters or teacher or student. Okay. Then third one is the small group communication. So it refers to the interaction among three or more people who are connected to a common purpose. For example, we can say that a group of people to set a goal or complete any task. The group of people are discussing about one purposes and they are working together to reach one goal. So the goal was same among the group people. That is the small group communication. Next one can see that public communication. It is projection of information to the general public for purpose of education. For example, we can say that politicians make public speeches to encourage the people to vote for them. So here one people can giving the message to some group of people. Okay, that is the public communication. Next we will see non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is nothing but the information will be transmitted by the messages or signal through a non-verbal such as eye contact, facial expressions or gestures or postures. Means by using of, without talk anything, by using of non-verbals like eye expressions, any feelings, otherwise our body language, by using of these things, the message is conveying to the other person. That is the non-verbal communication. These also having the some of the types like facial expressions, body movement or posture, gestures, eye contact and physiological responses and voices. Facial expressions mean this is most common non-verbal communication. Usually general life also we can in generally we will do this facial expressions. Suppose for example if anybody is saying something to you, you will smile on them, otherwise you will give some blinking of eyes or rolling of eyes. It will give some information to the who was listening to you. So one more thing is body movements or postures. Here some erect position, otherwise sitting position, standing position. It will give some of the messages to the opposite person who are watching you. Suppose some erect position mean it will show that you are interested what the sender is giving the messages. If you are keeping your body very dull means it will give some, like that you are not interested in the particular topic. So the body movements also is giving the some of the messages to the sender. Then gestures means are common practices like a hand gestures. We will nodding our hand, moving of our head. If you are saying no means you will say nodding of head, like that. It will give some of the messages to the opposite person. Then gestures like using of hands, body parts to explaining the things. Eye contact means lack of eye contact. We can say that the person maybe have some of the anxiety, otherwise discomfort in communication. Next, physiological responses and voices mean here is like increasing respiration, sweating, pupil dilatation and shows health status, how you are on the present condition. If the body temperature is increased, it was giving some information that you are having illness inside of. Okay. So here voice means like high pitched sounds. It will show that some aggressiveness and very polite manner. It will show it will give the information that you are in a calm mode. Next we will see process of communication. So here process in ongoing activity. Always the process is ongoing activity. It involves some set of actions. So like communication is the process as it involves some set of actions between the sender and receiver. So here then between the receiver and sender. So whatever the sender is giving the messages to the receiver and receiver whatever he was giving the feedback to the sender. So it will be always on a ongoing activity. So it is a two-way process involving the sending the and receiving of the message. Sending of the message and receiving of the message. So it will going on. It will on a going on activity always. So here the main focus of communication is to get a response. The communication is the process. It is ongoing activity. The receiver of the message then becomes the sender of a response. And the original sender then become the receiver. Next we will see factors influencing the communication process. First one we can say that development of and communication, developmental stage. So here as per the developmental stage of life, needs of client may be very different between the infant, toddler and school age. For example, we can say that a child can learn effectively through a story or by using of any dolls, otherwise games. By using of them, the child can learn something about that. So whereas adolescents need more explanation compared to the child. Next we will see gender. So here gender means one same message can be interpreted differently by the male and the female. Girls use it to communicate for confirming the message again and again. So they have the more doubts. Here the difference between the male and female will impact on the communication also. Then we will see about environment. One of the factor also is environment. Here The conducive of therapeutic environment is necessary for the effective communication. The environment should be noise free, well ventilated, and have the temperature within normal range. If lack of this ventilation, otherwise lack of any ventilation, otherwise any noise should be there, then the communication it won't be affected in a proper way. So the environment also is affecting on the communication. Next one we will see interpersonal attitudes. So here interpersonal attitudes means whatever the person is believing and whatever the person is having some thoughts, feelings about the people and events. Such attitudes, otherwise caring, warmth, respect and acceptance the facilities of communication. Those the nurse have such an attitude will develop the good interpersonal relationship with the client. If we are not having some interpersonal attitudes and we are not maintaining properly, then we can't do the proper communication in the hospital settings. Next we'll see congruence. So it is what the extent verbal and non-verbal expressions are similar or matching to each other. Here we can say that if the nurse have verbal and non-verbal messages does not match, then client will lose the trust and avoid interacting with the nurse. So always the verbal and non-verbal communication it should be matched together whenever you are speaking with the patient. Next we'll see personal space. So here the personal space is the distance maintained by the persons in interaction with the others. So the professional nurse maintain a good interpersonal relations and by the observing of client health status and also maintains the personal space. For example, we can say that when a client is emotionally very upset, otherwise child is very crying in situation, the nurse act as a mother, as a friend to get the normal stage of a persons. Next we'll see values and perceptions. Here values it is very important for the nurse to understand the client's values and perceptions. She can be verify it from client to avoid creating barriers in the nurse and client relationships. Next we'll see socio-cultural. So here the socio-cultural it is also affecting on the communication. The nurse should maintain the good proper relationship and the nurse could respect the patient's culture beliefs. Okay, if the nurse is not having this social cultural respect on the patient's feelings, then person can't trust on the nurse. So the communication it won't be affect in the hospital settings. So these are the factors influencing the communication process. Next we'll see some of the barriers of communication including with the factors, some of the barriers also which is affecting the communication like physiological barriers and psychological barriers and environmental barriers and cultural barriers. These are the barriers which is also affecting on the communication. First we will see physiological barriers like if the person is having the any hearing problem, vision problem, otherwise any expression problem, otherwise palpation problem, then it will affect on the communication. If the person is having these physiological barriers, then if you want to communicate with these persons, definitely it will be affect on the person. The communication, whatever you want to convey the message, it won't get the proper to receiver. Then psychological barriers like emotional disturbances, any fear, otherwise the intelligent level will be very low if the person is having any ego senses. So in this case also the communication will be disturbed. Like environmental barriers also, if the lack of ventilation, lack of privacy and overcrowding, in this manner also the communication won't be affect on environmental barriers. Same like cultural barriers also, if the level of knowledge and understanding is very low in the person, then communication it won't be affect properly. Then customs, beliefs, religion, languages, if the person is having language problem or if you doesn't know the whatever the patient is language, no, then the proper message you should can't be give to the person if you are unknown with the languages. So this is the reason of barriers why the communication is not effective on the hospital settings. Next we will see skills for effective communication. First one is the confident. Confidence is very important for developing and maintaining a trust with others. Nurse will be very confident if she has up-to-date knowledge, skillful, and as well as having of the self-concept. Next one is the critical thinker. The nurse must have this quality for the effective communication. She must collect the information, analyze it, and interpret it. The nurse must think critically about the message she wants to communicate. Next one is the analytical. Analytical means it is the ability to examine the impact of message. It means for an effective communication, nurse must be able to examine the verbal, non-verbal responses of the client. Then open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is nothing but it is a communication will be explore the information by entering the situation. Next, active listener. Means the nurse should be always be listen the patient what the patient is communicating with you. It is the best quality of the good communicator. This can be done by nodding the head, otherwise maintaining the eye contact, saying yes or no in between the conversations. It will give the some active listener. Then empathetic. Means empathy means perceiving the client's feelings. Being empathetic enables the nurse to help the client. Next one is the honest. Honest is very important in any of the communication, whatever whether it is formal or informal, either interpersonal or intrapersonal. Then confidentiality. So always the nurse should keep the secret about the patient's matters. So patient's matters, whatever the patient is discussing with the secrets to the nurse should keep the very confidential. Then knowledgeable. So up to date knowledge, the nurse should be having the up to date knowledge. Like in the professional knowledge, it is very important in effective communication. If the patient is asking about any disease condition, the nurse should able to tell about the disease condition. She should be having the professional knowledge up to date. Then systematic. Being systematic is very important because good communicators tend to seek and provide information in an organized and focused way. So communication must be proceed from simple to complex manner. Then tactfulness means it is a pivotal quality for effective communication. How to convey a message and get response in the essential quality of a good communicator. So these are the skills for effective communication. Confidence, critical thinker, analytical, open-mindedness, active listener, empathetic, honest, confidentiality, knowledgeable, systematic, and last tactfulness. Next we'll see importance of communication. So first one is the information, education, motivation, counseling, reduce stress, health promotion. These are the importance of communication. Information means here the primary function of communication is to provide information to public about the prevention of disease conditions and promotion of health. Education. So it is very important to educate the client regarding the discharge planning, otherwise any precautions to be taken, dietary management and lifestyle modification for getting of the good health. Regarding the education points conveyed what manner, otherwise direct conversations, otherwise with the communication with the client, any way of the method we have to give the education to the patient to promote his health condition. Next one, motivation. Motivation is the power which drives the person to do from within or inside. The client can never recover from illness until he is get motivated internally. So motivation is very important for changing of health. Counseling. So here the counseling means the patient, as a nurse, the patient get the counseling from the proper things like reducing of the bad habits, reducing of the smoking. Like that the person need the counseling from the other person. The nurse should able to give the proper counseling. Means the counseling brings the changes in the behavior of a person. Like a counseling help the client with a suicidal thought to omit such thoughts from a mind. Then reduce stress. So reduce stress means ventilating the feelings through verbal and non-verbal modes of communication help the client to get relief from the stress. And last one is the health promotion. Above the all mentioned the importances, the functions of communication leads to promotion of health. If you are doing this information, education, motivation, counseling, reduce stress, automatically by above of this, the person will get the health promotion of. Okay, understood? Next we will discuss about nurse-patient relationship. So it is very basic requirement in all individual, especially in the nursing practices. So the relationship will give some kind of encouragement and adjustment to the situation of every person. So the relationship very important in the hospital practices mainly. Now you will see definition. So it is an interaction between two persons in which the nurse offers a series of purposeful activities and practice that are useful to particular patient. So it is nothing but the nurse should communicate or interact with the patient and their family members to assist the patient activities which will helpful for the patient to gain his health normal. So these have some types of relationship, that is social relationship, intimate relationship, therapeutic relationship. So here social relationship means here the social relationship or social interaction is any relationship between the two or more individual. Intimate relationship means it is discussed before intimate, that relationship means it is an mutual understanding of the each other. For example, close friends. Therapeutic relationship, the relationship between the healthcare professional and a patient. So it is the interactive relationship which a patient and family about caring, like we can say that how to give the care to the particular situation, how to give the caring of the activities about the patient. That is the therapeutic relationship. Next we will see about the characteristics of a relationship, nurse patient relationship. So the nurse patient relationship will improve the bonding between the nurse and patient, and it will also help the person who respect with the each other. It involve the family relationship also. So here it will maximizing the client abilities to participate in decision making. And also the nurse should keep the confidential matters, whatever about the patient. She should give the respect about the client's secrets. And nurse patient relationship mainly based on the trust, respect and acceptance. These are the characteristics of developing helping relationship.